Picture this. You just bought this new horror game, Dead by Daylight, because you saw that it's collabing with FNAF, and that's your favorite franchise. So you buy DBD, and you turn off all the lights in your room, because obviously that's the best way to play a horror game. And this is a horror game, right? You see a tab in the menu after you load into the game. Learn the game. That's perfect. You're new to the game, so you need to learn it. And then you see this garbage. I actually have never completely finished the tutorial, which is pretty funny given that I have 5,000 hours. So I decided to venture in and see what it's all about. When you open the tutorial, there are two tabs. One's the game manual, and one's the actual tutorials. I read through the game manual, and let me tell you, it's a terrible way to learn this game. It's the equivalent of giving you a book on the history of swimming and then throwing you into the deep end of a pool. Yes, in theory, it tells you the general basics of the game. But, first of all, with our ever-decreasing attention spans, no one is going to read this. And second of all, multiple parts of the game manual are wrong or don't tell you everything you need to know. The tutorials themselves are a mess. They barely teach you the basic mechanics of the game, and then they don't go any further than that. And playing against and with bots is nothing like playing the actual game. So you read everything, you play the tutorial, and you think you're ready to face the world. You need blood points to level up your blood web, both terms you literally just learned. So you ready up, and then you just drown. There's too much information, too many perks, too many killers, too many maps, too much of everything. You get thrown into an ocean of information and confusion, and you just have to hope that someone comes along to teach you, or you figure it out on your own. It doesn't help that the MMR system barely works, so you're gonna go against killers and survivors far more experienced than you. How are new killers going to understand exhaustion perks, sabotage builds, and stun perks? From the tutorial, they learn that they're supposed to be the ones in control of a match and they're meant to be feared. And then matchmaking pairs them against a bully squad and they learn the true meaning of fear. How are new survivors supposed to understand gen regression, aura reading, and endgame perks? They learn that all they need to do is complete generators and hide from the killer. So they go to do that, and then while they're learning how to do skill checks, they run into perks like pain resonance and pop goes the weasel. The mere idea of completing gens now seems impossible. They keep on hiding and getting found, and they have no idea why. And if they somehow make it to endgame, they get hit with perks like No Ed and No Way Out, and they think the killer is overpowered and that the game is killer-sided. I can't even imagine the amount of people that have attempted to play this game only to quit because it's so difficult to get into and to understand. So much of what I know now is intuitive because I have 5,000 hours in the game. Of course it's intuitive. I've spent 5,000 divided by 24, 208 full days playing this game. I only got into this game because a friend introduced it to me, and he was also new to it. He told me that while injured, if I ran, that I was in danger of bleeding out. And I believed him, and I was scared of running. I would just walk around. Okay, so I've done a ton of complaining. Now what? Well, DBD makes a bunch of shorts that explain how killer powers work, how events work, etc. Throw all that shit into the tutorial system and throw the current tutorial system away. Explain how every killer power works and how to counter all of them with video examples. Explain the fundamentals of looping, how chases work, how to stall a killer, and how to chase a survivor. Give descriptions of all the maps and the realms. Give descriptions of exhaustion perks and gen regression perks and chase perks. If a perk with a new mechanic comes out, throw that in there. Explain perks like Finesse, Champion of Light, Invocation, Teamwork, Boons, and link all the perks back to their respective killers and survivors. You want an exhaustion perk? Fang has Live, Jane has it on, Renato has Background Player. You want a gen regression perk? Artist has Pain Res, Clown has Pop, Demogorgon has Surge. New players are neglected and expected to just figure everything out in one way or another. Why? The only way for this game to grow is for new players to join and play. And yet it's so difficult to understand, let alone master, this game. I remember when my twin tried to get into the game, she would bring Iron Grasp into every trial because she couldn't figure out how to find hooks and survivors kept wiggling out of her arms. I remember my dad dying to a pig trap because he didn't understand what it was and he just kept doing generators. There's so much unnecessary confusion and frustration. We shouldn't be making people just figure it out on their own. Everyone watching, everyone who has played this game, we all know how it's like to start out. I know this game is flawed, deeply flawed. There's so much toxicity and division, and maybe you're asking if it's even worth it to introduce new players to the game with how much there is wrong with DBD and the community. But I counter that with how much good there is, how much fun can be had, and how many uniquely human interactions you can have in the realm. Shouldn't everyone get a chance to see that?